And we're started. Hi, my name is Royletta Romaine, and I'm the owner of Healing by the Forkful. I'm a registered dietitian and a licensed dietitian and certified LEAP therapist from Boston. LEAP stands for Lifestyle Eating and Performance. I help my clients reduce or stop symptoms of inflammation, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and migraines with food, not medication. You can find me on Instagram at healingbytheforkful, or you can email me at healingbytheforkfulrd@gmail.com. My mini podcasts are short and to the point. A couple of times a month, I will bring you a new person who has been helped by what I call a personalized anti-inflammation blueprint. Please send me your email if you have questions or you would like to be on the podcast. My hope is to reach and help as many people as I can. So, welcome to, I can't even talk. Welcome to my podcast. Let's get started. So, today we have Dawn with us. She is a fellow dietitian and a LEAP therapist. She's actually done the protocol on herself, and she has treated patients. So I guess today we're going to talk about Dawn. So introduce yourself, Dawn.
Hi, my name's Dawn Privet. I am a dietitian. I've been doing LEAP since 2008. I could not find a therapist back then that would work with my autistic son. And so I went back to school to help him and learn a little bit more about immunology, and in fact ended up helping myself.
Awesome. So what were your symptoms or diagnosis, if you care to share?
Okay, so weirdly enough, I did not realize how many symptoms I actually had. I did the test because my son wouldn't do it until I did it. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing the test. I had 39, I believe, different sensitivities, most of them probably lower level and things that most people don't realize. So, some people will say, oh, I just don't eat onions because they make me burp. Okay, so fair enough. But it probably doesn't get to a point where it really bothers them. For about 20 to 30% of the population, me being one of them, we have some underlying symptoms that go on as far as inflammation goes. Back in 2008, we were not really studying inflammation as a modality. Now we know that it actually causes issues in everything from Alzheimer's to diabetes to autism.
Everything, it seems.
Yeah. And heart disease, big one there, and arthritis. And my family run heavy in some of those things. So I told my son, fine, I'll do it. And so I did it and took those things out of my diet. My weight went down drastically because it cut out a lot of my bad habits. I no longer had issues with my hands and fingers being swollen. I didn't have as many problems with the weather. And the one thing that I noticed the most of anything, and people don't maybe think about this much, but I had a trampoline in the backyard. We had 6 kids. And I used to be, when I would go out and jump on the trampoline, my knees would just quiver a little bit. Post-LEAP, that knee stabilization kind of fixed itself.
Wow.
And I wasn't having problems with pain in my feet anymore. Weirdly enough, everyone in our family are double knee, double ankle, double hip replacements. That's just our genetic card. I can honestly say 2008's been a while, and I am now the only person in my family my age that has not had to have a joint replaced.
That's awesome.
I completely believe that is probably because I don't have the inflammation causing pressure in my joints that I had before. And I really only just started doing this because I found that my son wasn't going to do it without me. And that was when I found out fibromyalgia was probably me. And arthritis was probably me. Mm-hmm. And IBS back then wasn't really talked about much, but it was probably me. And so changing my diet literally changed the trajectory of where I was headed.
Total quality of life change. It's amazing. Yeah. That's how I feel. Such a significant difference. So what did you try prior to LEAP to try to quell some of those symptoms?
Oh, I worked out. I took supplements. I was never big on medication. I'll be honest with you. I still not. And so I actually had not tried a lot of that stuff. I did take ibuprofen when my joints hurt. Joints don't hurt anymore. So I'm kind of probably not your typical person, because most people that end up in my office because they're on medications. They're very sick. I'm the end of the road for a lot of them, which is why I worked with some of the GI specialists here in Kansas City. And when they couldn't fix things and they weren't seeing holes in people's guts and it wasn't cancer, guess what?
Yeah.
Here I am.
It was you.
So we had a lot of people that we've been able to get off medications, or stop or people, these days that just don't want to go to the medication route.
Yes.
And so they have that option now. It's like some people want to be on medication. That's it. And some people are willing to change their diet because it's really the cheapest, most effective way.
And it works.
The trajectory, yeah. And to change the trajectory of the what's happening in your life. Is just,
we don't have that long list of take this medication and maybe your ear will fall off, or maybe you'll lose some, you know what I mean? It's just like the list goes on and on and on. And I'm like, why are people still taking this? At least try the food route first.
Yeah.
I mean, most people can get off of medication completely, and there's some where they're still on it, but it's a much lower dose. So exactly. It's affecting your body less. It's messing with your stomach a lot less, your liver a lot less. So it just seems to me that you would start with food. So when you decided to make these changes, how long was it before you started to feel relief?
Well, the first 3 days were really not fun. Because I had to give up my first run through. I had to give up caffeine and sugar and some of those. But by the end of day 7, after the first week, I felt like I was kind of walking out of a basement with really long steps, and I was starting to see the sun for the first time in a long time. For me, a lot of brain fog that I did not realize I even had. Starting to clear. My sleep got better. Like I said, the inflammation in my hands completely went away, and it was just weird. And that was really literally the first 7 days.
Oh, wow. That's just amazing. So just tell us how your life has changed since doing this protocol.
Well, you will never look at a grocery store or nutrition label the same way again. You probably won't trust a lot of people's opinions when you go out to eat unless you've researched it yourself, because by standards, the United States public is not real educated right now on how or what's in their foods. This literally kind of was a wake-up call for me and my family. We never thought a thing about covering everything in gravy, cheese sauce, and ranch dip. Now we all have our own seasoning flavor profiles that we use. We eat regular food and a lot less junk.
Yeah, real food. I love that it's individualized. You have a household and everybody has their own different things.
I can't have pepper. Somebody else can. They can have paprika. My husband can't. But, one of the things that we learned was that real food tastes pretty good. And it doesn't have to be covered in 6 seasonings and all kinds of spices and gravies and sauces to make it feel good or taste good. It can actually be real food. I will tell you, my older children complained for about 2 or 3 months. And then after that, my younger children don't even remember when we used to eat that way. So, change your lifestyle, change your family's future.
Exactly. So just briefly, tell us about, since you had different people on different plans, so to speak, how did you handle the organization to make sure that everybody got what they were supposed to get? Because I imagine there are a lot of other families that would need to make this transition with numerous foods that they're not supposed to eat. Can you give us some insight on that?
Well, when you have 6 kids, you're probably pretty used to making some changes anyway, because not everybody's going to like the same thing. What we learned to do was to cook, freeze, or cook chill. And so we would make extra portions of things. So if we were having chicken tonight, we would make extra chicken in case somebody couldn't have beef tomorrow, or maybe they just didn't want to. As a general rule, we make 2 or 3 fruits and vegetables at every meal already. And so if somebody couldn't have broccoli, then guess what? You can have 2 servings of this or 3 servings of that. And it just kind of worked out. The longer that most of us had been on the LEAP diet, the less strict. And for me, since I've had it run several times, there's been some things that I've been able to put back in my diet. So it doesn't seem as complicated. And I'll be honest with you, it's way less complicated to have to manage 6 people's medication schedule than it is to provide an extra fruit and vegetable at every meal.
That's a very good point. A very good point. Do you have any other tips on how to incorporate LEAP into your everyday diet?
I would see we've done it for so long. I don't even know if I have more
remember
tips
what you did.
other than just being aware of what you're actually doing and what's in your foods. It's crazy how many people will pick up a box of something and they serve it to their family and they've never even looked at the label to see what's in it. So making healthier choices has never been easier than it is today. Even places like Walmart and Aldi's, believe it or not, have things that are targeted for people who are looking for more natural alternatives. And so it's way easier today than it was in 2008. And, even as far as restaurants, calling ahead solves the problem for almost everything. You just have to be aware.
Okay. Awesome. It's been wonderful talking to you. Is there any, if somebody were debating whether to do this or not do it, what would you tell them?
Interesting question, because we had this discussion as a group on Friday and with several of my patients, because we're somewhat friends. After you've worked together for 6 months, you just get to know people. And one of the things that one of them said, and I think we all agree with, is this should probably be on everybody's docket, just like a colonoscopy. I personally think everyone should, if you're doing anything preventative for your health, looking to see what may or may not be causing problems should be part of your health landscape, just like a cardio scan or having your cholesterol run. We honestly feel that way because it's changed our lifestyle that much.
Right. I agree. And we were saying earlier that most everything is caused by inflammation. So if you can nip it in the bud right there, you're less likely to have all of those other issues come around.
Yep. And if you stop it before it becomes really the big monster in the room, I would love to be able to stop people's migraines or people's inflammation when it begins, instead of waiting until we can just get it down to a dull headache because you've got so much damage and nerve ending problems. That's as far as where we're going to get. And I think that we're going to get there, but it's just going to be education of the public, realizing how much stuff really needs to have attention drawn to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dawn. I really enjoyed talking to you. And I guess we'll touch base again when we talk about some other family members that you have success with.
Perfect.
So thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.